Hello, good afternoon. You've tuned into Your Stocks, coming live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Vinny Motiwala. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. In terms of the markets, it's been a dull sort of a day for the markets, right? Not much of an up move or a down move that we're seeing. And Nifty has been around the 26,070 levels. Not any sharp recovery that we've seen, from the day's highest point. It's just then moving around 26,050, 60 levels and just going up to somewhere 80. So yes, that's what we'll be keeping an eye out on. IT continues to hold on to strong gains. Banks are doing well. So Nifty Bank also is managing to hold on to gains of 0.6%. What's not doing well is the broader end of the market, right? When they look at the Nifty mid cap or the small cap, both of these are trading with cuts of almost 0.2% for the Nifty mid cap. Even the small cap is trading with cuts of almost 0.5%. So broader end of the market is seeing clear pressure. And look at the Nifty small cap, 0.6% now, and it's trading at the day's lowest point. That, advanced decline ratio, the wide is seeing a larger gap now. At 12 o'clock last time when we were looking at it, it's still there. But now it's increased, intensified the gap. 2,000 stocks on the decline side versus somewhere around 800 stocks on the advances. But that's the market setup for today. But this is the show where we solve all your stock-related queries. And we're going to be doing just that today with Ashish Kyal, CMT author at Wave Strategy Advisors, as well as Gaurang, Shah, Senior Vice President, Geojit Investments, to answer all the stock-related queries. Ashish as well as Gaurang, good afternoon, happy Monday, and thank you so much as always for joining in on the show. Let's get started with the queries then. The first query for today is coming from PC Achaya, who's writing to us from Bangalore. Now, he's holding 300 shares of Infosys. This is priced at around 1,500 rupees is the purchase price. Wants to know the outlook on the stock for the long term. Infosys, what is the bet coming in here? Gaurang, today we had a note that came in from some brokerages as well on the IT pack. But Infosys, what are we keeping an eye out on?
It's always good to be on your show. Thank you so much for having me. Good afternoon to all the viewers of CNBC-TV18, to you and to my good friend Ashish Kyal. A small disclosure before I go further, which is mandatory, that all recommendations that I'll be sharing with you on your show, these are part of our research team fundamental recommendations from a long-term point of view. Our company, Geojit or I, we do not have any personal investments, no conflict of interest, no financial interest, but we give recommendations to our clients on similar lines. They might hold their investment interest. Now, about Infosys, I think a lot of people on the street were wary about the Q2 earnings for the IT sector. Fortunately, we maintained a positive stance even when the announcement regarding tariff was made by President Trump on 80 plus countries, and we had 25 plus 25, 50% tariff. Expectation was that it's going to be a downplay. Numbers are not going to be as per a line. It's going to come under pressure. But Q2 number was much better than what the street has estimated. Future looks quite strong. We have a hold stroke buy recommendation on Infosys. Hold on to it. And in case if on a bad market, if you see the stock slipping sub 1,500 or below that, you can possibly even add more to your long-term investments.
Okay, sure. Thanks so much for that, Gaurang. But just to look at the bottom of your screens, and in some somber news coming in, veteran actor Dharmendra has passed away at the age of 89 in Mumbai. And obviously, this is some sad news coming in. He was fighting with age-related issues for some time now. And today, he, passed away. 89 was his age in Mumbai. So that is the update there. Some somber news coming in from the Bollywood industry. But let's keep it going then with that stock related query. And Ashish, coming to you for Infosys.
First of all, rest in peace, Dharmendra ji. बहुत सारी movies देखी, I've watched a lot of them, and it's always sad to see something like this happening. But that's life, and we have to move on. So with respect to the stock query on Infosys, if you look at the overall Infosys pattern, it has been consolidating in a very broad range for quite some time. And after that, it has shown an attempt to give a breakout on the upside. There is some selling pressure from the higher levels, but overall, I think the entire IT cycle is going to turn back on the upside. That's what my take is. And we should head towards the level of 1650 and eventually 1700 levels on Infosys. Also, there was a buyback offer for the tender, which has been over, I think, right now. And this is going to support the prices. So overall, technically speaking, the stock was consolidating between 1550 and 1450 for quite some time, gave a breakout, and now sustaining there. I think it's going to head towards 1700 and eventually 1800 levels.
Okay, we'll be keeping an eye out on those levels over there. Let's move on to the next query. Again, an IT one, because Rajkumar is writing to us from Visakhapatnam. He's talking about TCS. 50 shares of TCS, prices 1,800 rupees per share. Should they continue stay or exit? Gaurang, your view for TCS?
Well, I'll definitely stay invested. I think the acquisition price is 1,800, if I read that right, Vinny. Decent level of investment in a stock and a sector which is likely to perform extremely well as we go into the future. My friend Ashish Kyal mentioned about buyback about Infosys. My humble request to all the viewers who have got invested in IT stocks, large cap like Infosys, TCS, Vinny, stay invested. Don't get attracted to the buyback offers by the company, because there is a lot more that lies in terms of performance and stock price appreciation and earnings visibility. So again, on TCS, we have a buy stroke hold recommendation. Hold on to it. If you want to add to it, use dips to add on to the stock.
Okay. Use dips to add on to the stock. That also can come in here. Ashish, your view for TCS?
See, TCS view remains bullish. We can clearly see the entire IT cycle is turning up slowly and steadily. Possibly we are in an accumulation phase and we should start a wave up from here on. TCS also, we can expect a target of around 3,400 to 3,500 levels on the upside over near term. And on the downside, the support for the stock is going to be 3,000. So use any dips as a buying opportunity and accumulate the stock.
Okay, that's a view there for TCS on the fundamentals and technicals. Next query for today is from Surya, who's writing to us from New Delhi. He wants to know if he can invest in stocks like Suzlon Energy and NCC. Gaurang, your view? It's an investment query, NCC and Suzlon Energy.
Well, so on both Suzlon and NCC, we do have a positive coverage. But my humble request to the viewer stroke investor is that have a longish time horizon. Don't expect any kind of miracles to happen if you eventually decide, after understanding and rationalizing your investment approach, in Suzlon and NCC. Now, Suzlon happens to be a company that we all know the history, but now things have changed for better. Q2 numbers were better than what the street estimates were. Orders coming in as far as the government focus in clean and green energy, specifically with solar and wind energy, likely to do well. You can definitely buy it from a long-term point of view. NCC, a stock associated with infrastructure, has a decent order book, and equally capable is the management in terms of experience and capability to execute that order book. And as we go into the future, Vinny, there is going to be a lot in terms of infrastructure creation, both at the center, the government at the center, and state level government. So again, but have at least 1.5 2 year plus kind of time.
Okay. Have at least 1.5 year to kind of a 2 year kind of a time period when you're looking at investing in this NCC stock as well. But Ashish, is this the correct level maybe to enter Suzlon and NCC, or maybe wait out for some bit of time?
See, if you look at Suzlon and NCC, both the stocks. So first, talking about Suzlon, the stock started correcting over near term. If you look at it from 61.70 level, and it is still going down. We haven't seen any kind of positive traction. So my suggestion would be, instead of entering now, maybe around the levels of 52, 2.50, if you want to time it that much. That's the price action support zone. Enter there and then maintain a stop loss of around 48. That can be a good risk reward trade setup as well. Expecting a target on the upside over 62 to 64. That's a short term take I'm talking about. As far as NCC is concerned, NCC started correcting from 215 levels. And it has been nearly 10 or 12 trading sessions. Since then, it has not given a single close above prior day high, which suggests that there is some kind of a selling pressure in the stock as of now. My suggestion would be to hold NCC from buying fresh positions as of now. Let's see a few more days, and if it can manage to break back about that 181 hurdle zone. So above 181, there is a possibility we might start seeing reversal in NCC.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out on the levels over there. Let's move on to the next query for today. We have Marun, who is writing to us from Mumbai, holding 73 shares of Coromandel, and this is at a price of 2,202 rupees per share, making a profit on this one. Wants to know the future prospects of his investment. Should they continue to hold this for the long term, or is it a short term bet that now comes in here? Gaurang?
Well, I hope it is long term, to be very honest, and we do have a positive coverage on Coromandel International. Government policies are auguring well for fertilizer stroke urea related companies. And I think as we go into the future, more productivity will translate into positivities for companies like Coromandel International. Holding 73 odd shares, well, you can definitely increase your investment if you have investable amount from a long-term point of view. Maybe at current levels or maybe at closer to 2,200 where he initially invested the amount. But yeah, definitely hold and add Coromandel.
Okay, hold and add Coromandel. That's a view there. And Ashish, your view for Coromandel International, continue to hold it, or if you're looking to add also, what levels?
Yes, I would suggest to add at the current levels also, because the stock had already shown correction over past 3 months and is now showing some kind of a reversal sign. So one can continue to add or average at the current levels. We can expect the stock to move up toward the levels of around 2,500 eventually. And on the downside, the support is going to be around 2,170.
Okay, keeping an eye out on those levels over there for Coromandel International. But on that note, we're going to actually slip into a very short break. But here's a reminder for our viewers. HSBC presents Future Female Forward Season 3, co-presented by Cognizant. From New Delhi, we bring you the newest state chapter edition with powerful perspective, action-focused agendas, and a collective vision for accelerated equity. Tune in to at 25th of November at 5:30 p.m. onwards for insightful conversations on CNBC-TV18 and CNBC-TV18.com. Welcome back to Your Stocks on CNBC TV18. Markets are just where we started our show with just a slight bit of a decline, right? 26,050, around that mark is what the Nifty is trading at. But let's keep it going with the stock-related queries. The next query for today has come from Ramesh, who's writing to us from Mumbai, holding 10,000 shares of IDFC First Bank. This is at a price of rupees 80. Wants to know the long-term outlook of the stock. Gaurang, your view for the stock for a long-term story, IDFC First Bank?
Well, Vinny, first of all, I hope it's not a short-term trade turned into long-term because of the quantity that I said. And of course, 10,000 shares, I hope he's got some other investments also, because a single sector or maybe a large concentration on one company is also not advisable on the fundamental side. Having said that, we have a hold stroke add recommendation on IDFC First Bank. A couple of things, Vinny. First of all, I think the pressure from the MFI segment seems to be a thing of the past and is now in the rearview mirror. Post Q2 numbers, the verbatim given by the management is going to be focused on improving margins and, of course, improving the asset quality and, of course, the bottom line. And there is a very strong commentary on that particular part. And we expect the improvement to reflect in the third and the fourth quarter in the next financial year. Long term, continue to hold on to it.
Okay, long term continue to hold. That's the view there. But on the technicals, what's the word for IDFC First Bank?
See, the prior peak, which was the resistance at that point of time in July, was around 77 levels. And this, as per polarity reversal, this peak should now act as a support. So prices are very near to that level. So I think 77 is a very important level that IDFC First Bank can protect. And the overall undertone for the stock is bullish. We can clearly see from the lows of April, when it was 54, it's still trading at 80 levels. And there is a potential for the stock to go up. So my suggestion is hold on over here. And we can expect a target of around 90. On the downside, the support for the stock is going to be around 77.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out on those levels over there. Let's move on to the next query for today. We have S. Sankara Narayan, who's writing to us from Chennai, holding 15 shares of CAMS. This is at an average price of 3,972, making a slight bit of a loss here. And the other one is 15 shares of NSDL at a price of 1,080. Here they're making a profit now, slight bit of a profit here. Long-term investor, so wants to know long-term, should he continue to hold both these stocks? What should be the target that they should keep also now? Gaurang?
So both are capital markets related stocks, Vinny, basically services oriented, CAMS and NSDL. So on CAMS, again, we have a hold and a add recommendation from a long-term point of view. And if you're a believer that Indian stock markets are going to do well over the next 3 years, 5 years, or maybe more, strong companies, fundamentally strong companies, which are associated with the Indian capital markets are also likely to perform. So on CAMS, we have a hold and add recommendation. On NSDL, we had come out with a IPO note, Vinny, and we had given a subscribe from a long-term point of view. Continue to hold as well.
Okay, that's a word there. On the technicals, CAMS and NSDL?
See, as far as CAMS is concerned, the stock looks to be forming a triangle pattern in a range of 4,100 on the upside as a hurdle and support at around 3,650. I think there is a possibility the stock can give an upside breakout from here on, and that can lead to a third wave, which can be a very sharp move on the upside. So hold on is the recommendation. The upside target can be around 4,600 or higher levels for the stock. And as far as NSDL is concerned, we can again see that NSDL there is not much of a price data, but overall performance looks to be positive given that CAMS, NSDL, I think will move more in tandem together. And NSDL can also inch higher towards the level of 1250. Gold over here, the support for the stock is around 1050 levels.
Okay, keeping an eye out on that. Let's move on to the next query. We have Shruti Mishra who's writing to us from New Delhi. Holding 100 shares of growth. This is at a price, okay, at 100 rupees per share as well. Wants to know the long-term outlook of the stock. Gaurang, what's your view for Grow? You know, after listing, we've seen that run-up that came in just in a week, almost doubled, right? So then, and then that slight bit of a correction came in. What should they be doing now?
And there was some news article about some delivery, etc., 30 lakh shares. I don't know how far that is true. Again, Vinay, unfortunately, we did not cover Grow during the IPO, nor do we have any fundamental coverage. I won't be giving any specific buy, sell, and hold. But, you know, like I said, for CAMS and NSDL, strong and fundamental companies which are associated with stock market will definitely perform well.
Okay. Ashish, I don't know whether charts or anything to look at right now, but in that 1 or 2 weeks, they've managed to just run up. So you have any view on this or anything that you would like to tell our viewers?
See, my suggestion is there's not much of a price action data, and the way the stock has moved, making millionaires in one day and then taking it all away in another day. So it's better to avoid. I would suggest if rather park with something like a BSE, which looks much better, and it has shown strong kind of returns, and it has given also committed to the investors' wealth growth. So BSE is what I would suggest to switch to.
Okay. And Ashish, you know, this is a technical query that we have this next one. Shashank Bhardwaj is writing to us from New Delhi. 200 shares of SBI, he's holding at a price of 190 rupees per share. Wants to know the levels to add more at. So he looks to add more. He's holding it at 190, so holding it for a long period of time. What's your view?
So if SBI at 190, currently trading at 970, if I'm
yes.
understanding it correctly, that's a crazy level that he is holding on. My suggestion would be, why do you want to get out of this stock when you have hold on and seen a multi-bagger returns in such a period of time? Continue to hold on. Do not do anything stupid now, because we have ride all the trend, and I think Bank Nifty, PSU banks, and also the private sector banks are going to do very well in the coming few years as well. So overall tone is positive with respect to levels. I think 899 is a very important support zone for SBI, and on the upside, the stock can even move towards 1200 or higher levels.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out on those levels over there. Thanks so much for that. Thank you so much, Gaurang, as well as Ashish, for always joining in with us on the show and helping our viewers with their stock-related queries. But with that, we're going to wind down this edition of Your Stocks. But in somber news, for thousands of fans, veteran actor Dharmendra has passed away at the age of 89 following a prolonged illness. And, 89 years, and he is the He-Man, is what we call him in Bollywood as well. So in very somber news there, he passed away at the age of 89. But with that, we'll wind down this edition of Your Stocks. Thank you so much.